John, first of all, we're going to have a look at the Senior Hurling Championship. Group 1 and 3 for yourself first.
Yeah, look at Stevie, Group 1 there. I suppose Borrisoleigh will be taking on Kilruane there on Friday night and tomorrow night at 7:15 up in Donnell there. Kilruane, I suppose, a surprise packet of the first round there with their 420 to 125 victory over Drum there. Coming into the county championship, they had it was on the back of a bad 2023 where they were in relegation, and also in the North Championship, Stevie. So look at in the 2 points victory there over Drum. What was it? It was a good victory. 4 points, yeah. Willie Cleary got 13 points in that, Stevie. 11 of them from frees. Jerome Cahill the goal, Keane O'Kelly a goal, Johnny Cleary and Cian Darcy a goal there. So the goals, won the games for them. Drum had Callan there with 1-9 there. Cormac Fitzpatrick 5 points, But look, they go in now against Borrisoleigh, who had a good victory there, in the opening game as well. Again, a sort of a surprise. So I suppose the two teams, although maybe it shouldn't be any surprise, Stevie, but look at this game up in Donnell. I think, it's very, very hard one to call. But the way Kilruane have bounced back there with their players back from injury and all, I wouldn't be surprised there if they get over this one, Stevie. And that brings us on to the other one there. We have Drum and Tumivara. That's in Borrisoleigh, the second part of a double header on Saturday, 3:45 there. I suppose, look at this one. The loser of this one is in trouble. Like in all the first round losers there, it's a must there to if they have to stay in the championship to get a victory like in round 2. And as I said, both of them were defeated in round 1 there. It could develop into a shootout between Darragh McCarthy and Seamus Callan. It's McCarthy's second year now at it, and he stepped up to the mark the last day, and we know Callan is around a long time and he can still deliver the goods. But it's a very, very hard one. But I think Tumivara there, they only went down narrowly in the North final to Killadangan, a late goal there, getting Killadangan over the line by a goal, Stevie. So look, I'd fancy Tumivara in that one there.
Okay, Michael, we're going to have a look for yourself, 2 and 4.
So yeah, Stevie, Group 2, an interesting group there. Both games on Saturday evening at 6:30. So the two winners meet from round 1, and it's Thurles Sarsfields versus McCarthy. That's on at 6:30 in Templemore. McCarthy, very impressive winners over Roscrea in round 1. Had went into a commanding lead after 13 minutes, were ahead 3-9 to 2 points, and the game was effectively over at that stage. Kyle for McCarthy there in round 1, he finished with 2-9. They had impressive performers all throughout the field, Max Hackett and Jeff Allen as well, Stevie, and Rhys Shelley popped up with a couple of points there from frees as well. So very impressive for McCarthy, who have been impressive, I thought, in all their games so far. Got to the mid-final for the first time in a long number of years. Had done very well in that final, apart from maybe the last 10 or 12 minutes when Lockmore took over and scored very well to beat them. So look, Thurles Sarsfields, we know what you get from them. They had a good win over Mullinahone in round 1, 29 points scored. Conor Stakelum in real good form there, 9 points to his name, 8 points from play, in a real tour de force there around the middle of the field. So look, I suppose an interesting game between two mid rivals. You'd have to fancy Sars, but at the same time you can't rule out McCarthy with the way they've been hurling so far this year. The second game in that group is Mullinahone versus Roscrea. This is in Holy Cross, 6:30 on Saturday as well. As I said there, Roscrea, I suppose, surprisingly lost out to McCarthy in round 1. I expected a lot more out of Roscrea, and they'll have to really up their performance in round 2. Indeed, their last 3 scores of the game were goals, I suppose, when they were going for goal to make the scoreline respectable. And and still lost out by 10 points. So that just goes to show how far they were behind coming down in the last 5 minutes of the game. Rosgray will be looking to the two Tynans, I suppose, who did decently enough for them. Kenny Lee as well, who got on the scoreboard for them for the last day. Mullinahone, they scored 119 in that game against the Sars. It was tight enough, maybe tighter than the 7 points. The 7 points that was in it, but I did think the Sars were probably in control for a lot of the game. Mullinahone had Jack Shelley, their player manager, doing very well for them there in the forwards. But I think they're without Conor Whelan and Mikey O'Shea again this weekend. I believe they're home from San Francisco, but their sanction, their 60-day sanction isn't up, or certainly there's some sort of issue with it. So they won't be playing. Shawnee Curran had done very well for them there in the last game, so they'll be looking to him again. Owen Kelly, of course, who was named on the Masters panel during the week, is in goal for them. So look, this will be an interesting game, as I said, in Holy Cross, 6:30. On form, I would have to say Rosgray, but look, you just don't know whatever Mullinahone will bring.
Okay, next up, John.
Yes, Stevie. Next up is Group 3 there. Holy Cross and Lockmore, the Rag, 4:30 on Sunday. Both winners in round 1. Lockmore had their expected victory over Loradara there, with the McGraths to the 4. John with 1-7 and goals from Tommy Maher, Liam Tracy, Kieran McGrath. Holy Cross on the other side, they beat Nina 24 points to 19 in what was a big win for Holy Cross there. Brian O'Mara with 3 points there, but then we had Cathal Barrett with 2 lining out in the half-hour line, as he has been for the last couple of years with Holy Cross. We had Robbie Ryan at 4 points there. Dara Woods 5 points, 3 from frees, and James Niall with 3 points. I think Holy Cross there will probably get over the line in that one, Stevie. And that brings us to the other one there, and we have Nina and Laura both defeated there. That's on in Clough-Jordan on Saturday evening, 7:15. Nina lost out to Holy Cross, as we said. But look at Nina, for the last number of years there, they've promised a lot, and they don't seem to be able, on the big day, they don't seem to be able to get over the line. I think that they're good enough though against Lara, who depend a lot there on Colin Fogarty, 8 points the last day, and Owen McIntyre and Niall McIntyre also on the scoreline. But I think Nina will advance in this one, Stevie, because I think they're just that little bit better than last year's Premier Intermediate champions.
Okay, back to you again, Michael.
Yeah, Stevie, Group 4 sees Clonoulty and the Brackens square off in Borrisoleigh at 2 p.m. on Saturday. I suppose Brackens were round 1 winners, scored very, very heavily, 6-26 against Templederry, a game they were always in control of. I suppose maybe a small bit for them was they were so much in control but still conceded 3-20, and Sean Ryan got 2-5 of that there in the second half. So they'll have to tighten up at the back. Clonoulty are in this fixture because they were the first name out of the hat when the draws are made for the game, so they go through as de facto winners despite drawing with Killadangan 4-20 apiece. So Cathal Burke had played very well. I think he got 1-4. Stephen Ferncombe scored very heavily for them as well. So Clonoulty, this is a repeated relegation semi-final actually from last year, which Clonoulty won. So look, I'd have a fancy, of course, for the West team again, especially I suppose their game was a lot more tougher than the Brackens was in round 1, and that leaves Killadangan and Templederry in the second game in that group, 3:15 in Nina on Sunday. I couldn't see anything, only a Kildangan victory in this one. They won the North, as John had already said, and they will have too much for Templederry, who would need a huge performance on Saturday to get over the county champions. So yeah, they're the 2 games in round 4 or in Group 4, Stevie.